Yo, you know what it is, man. It's TTB. Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because you love boxing and we love boxing.
That's the fact, man. Most definitely. This is the place where fight fans come to get these delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. What's on the menu for him today, bro?
Big John Fury, Tyson Fury's father, seems to be concerned about the Wilder fight. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's serve him up real quick. Yeah, man. Big John Fury came out with an interview posted on BT Sports. I will put a link in the description. But he did an interview with BT Sports over there in the UK somewhere. I think in Liverpool. I think he said he was in. But he has some concerns across the pond for his son, and think his son is being led on by a bunch of yes men, and he has a little bit of concern about the Wilder fight, man, and wish it would have went another way, and possibly even telling Fury not to take the fight, telling him to drop the belt and say fuck that belt and leave. But let's hear it from the horse's mouth himself, man. I'm gonna play a couple clips. Again, the link in the description. This is from BT Sports. This is Mr. John Fury himself.
Factors like AJ's camp claiming that they never wanted, Tyson never wanted it in the first place.
Well, rubbish. I'm just concerned whether Tyson can raise his game for Wilder. Whether he gets complacent, makes a mistake, but I don't know. It's got every chance of going wrong out there. Because I don't like how it's been handled. It's been badly handled, and that's just my opinion, no one else's. Tyson knows what he's doing. But I said, get back on a plane. Let's have a look at the situation properly. Let's assess it. But,
There you go. This first part, if you didn't really hear because of the accent, this is John Fury basically saying he don't like it. He think his son may be getting complacent over here in the States, getting comfortable with the new mansion he got in Las Vegas. He think his son possibly might not be as focused as he was, and think his son should come back across the water to the UK and train over there. What is your opinion on that matter? On what he has for his son?
His father is absolutely correct. Tyson Fury is, like you said, the type of dude that he has to stay focused. He has to have somebody on top of him. Somebody in his corner to tell him, hey, Tyson, we got to get to work, man. Hey, Tyson, let's stay focused. Tyson over here, man, living his best American dream life, man. You see him out, he drinking, he out at the beach, he wearing his chains, he got his shirt open. He enjoying his money, enjoying his American living, man. And probably his father is seeing a lot of signs to what he was before the Wilder fight. But that's when he went into that dark place, kind of after the Klitschko win, and kind of started going the wrong way. And maybe he's starting to see a lot of those same things, and he's trying to put them back in because, in all actuality, man, Wilder is a dangerous fighter. And if anybody knows the deep secrets of what happened that night, it's Fury's father, and he knows what he has to deal with that night. And he's probably telling him, hey man, this guy is coming to try to seriously hurt you, and if you come in there and if you all out here and not focused like you need to be, it could be some serious damage being done. So I think that's his main concern from a father to a son.
It's funny you said that about his father knowing the deep secrets of that fight, because I'm gonna play the rest of the clip, but I have to disagree with you. I think his father is in the dark about a lot of things going on over here in the States. I don't think he knows. Either he don't know, or he has a blind faith in his son, and he has a blind hate for the American side and the American public. But I'll let it speak for itself again. I won't tell you why, because this is your first time hearing the interview. I already heard it, so everybody, you're getting his organic responses to this. See, I'm waiting until the end to give my opinion on it, but I'm gonna let you keep hearing it so you can keep getting your
walk through him
the
again.
danger point is getting fair play out there. At the minute, the American boxing fraternity has been embarrassed from last escapade. Why wouldn't you take a $20 million step aside without fighting and a guaranteed shot at the winner when you're fighting for a lot less money than $20 million and you're risking getting your skull caved in again? It don't make sense on his part. So obviously the powers that be in America are involved, aren't they? And they're calling the shots, and they've sort of like trapped both men, haven't they? They've trapped them both, in my opinion. But I'd just say, listen, there's your belt, keep it. He keeps going on about belts mean note to him, don't he, my son? There's your belt, I'm fighting AJ. you know. Or if you want to fight, no problem. I'll fight in Saudi, and then the Saudis are happy, then, aren't they? Because they've gone to a lot of trouble. Those people.
What is your opinion on that small matter?
Well, the first thing that when he said about the American market wanting Wilder and Tyson Fury to fight, that's bull crap, because most of the American market wants the Joshua and Fury fight. Most people are against Wilder. Wilder's caught hell from the UK side and from the American fan base, saying that he's pretty much in the way of Undisputed, even though he had a contract that pretty much guaranteed him that third fight. So I don't know where he's coming from that point. And then as far as him being cheated, I can't really understand where he's coming from that point either, unless he's pretty much going on the fact that he felt like that first fight that Fury won, and he felt like the draw wasn't a fair shake. But other than that, I don't understand where he's coming from with the cheating when his son has been caught cheating on, we know of, 2 occasions. This third one, all the signs are there if you look at the video and things like that. But if you don't even want to use that, he got caught with a glove situation in another fight, and he also got caught using drugs, performance enhancement drugs. So he's been caught cheating 2 times in his career. So how can you accuse somebody else of cheating when your son has been caught cheating 2 times? So I don't understand where he's coming from that. I mean, and as far as the step aside money, he wouldn't make less money, fighting him. He's gonna make way more than $20 million. So to me, I don't know if he's just not informed or understand the business behind it, but I figure he does. So I don't understand how he feel Wilder is losing money by not taking the $20 million step aside money, when we know that fight is gonna at least make those guys north of $60 million a piece. I would predict.
I know I stopped with you at the end, but I gotta explain what I think about this point first, because it kind of had me confused when I first heard it. Also, this is how I know John Fury is not familiar with what goes on here in America, because America would not cheat for Wilder. This where part that had me lost. Wilder doesn't have the complexion for the protection. Like Wilder doesn't have the market push that Fury had when Fury came to America. This is what I don't understand. Wilder's been here his whole career. Wilder has a bronze medal for America in the Olympics. Wilder had a championship. He reigned a champion for 10 defenses. For 5 years, he had the WBC title. Fury came to the States and had literally 2 fights and has a worldwide leader in sports and ESPN full marketing campaign with him. Off of those 2 fights, this is a dude that's not born here. He's from the UK who can't fight in his own country for cheating allegations and other stuff. And he has the marketing push like he was the hometown hero, and Wilder's the foreigner. So for his father to be, I don't want to say blind to the fact, because he's across the pond. People got a different perception, but they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a different perception of them over there. They have a different perception of us over here. Mm-hmm. But he clearly doesn't know that his son will be the one who will have the leisure or the have that in his side. His son was the one. The gloves conspiracy is one case, and the possible drug in the water is another one. Showing you never heard anybody bringing up anything about Wilder possibly cheating did this ever. So for him to be concerned that his son will be cheated, to me, is asinine. I'm just going to say it. It's either asinine or he's building in an excuse, which I'll say that point for later. This is another part of it that I want you to hear and get your organic opinion about. Again, the link is in the description. This is from BT Sports.
Any of it. But hopefully, if Tyson comes through Wilder and AJ fights Usyk, which is no gimme, then there's a chance they could.
Both men could get beat. AJ could get beat, so could Tyson. Because both men could get complacent, thinking about one another, and all of a sudden you're doing something else. They're geared up to fight one another, the biggest fight in history. And all of a sudden, what have we got? 2 warm-up fights in between. I've said a lot, I've said this, I've said that, but it's all business, it's all building a fight. But now this is serious. I'd say keep your WBC belt, I'm out of here. I'm fighting AJ with the belt or without it. As long as he gets fair play, all I want him to do is reign and get what's right and get fair play. If you get beat fair and square, that's not a problem with me. But I just see so many unbranded tricks being played in this field now. It's ridiculous. I've got the bellyache with it.
So, what is your opinion on him saying that? Him saying his son should drop the belt. Again, I guess you already touched on the fair play conversation, and the fact that Joshua could lose and Fury could lose in their next fights.
Yeah, he right about that. Joshua could, I mean, not Joshua, Fury could lose. Now Joshua not losing the fight. That's a mismatch. We'll talk about that later on if the fight get made, but Joshua not losing that fight. So drop that. He gonna win that fight. But as far as the Fury and Wilder fight, yeah, Wilder is, with that power and with the first two fights, to me, like I said, I understand why the first fight was a draw. The second fight, I mean, even though with all the stuff that happened, Fury won the fight from what you've seen. But even his father knows that this is going to be a tough fight for Fury and that he may not win this fight. So I kind of get where he's coming from on that part. And the second part of it was, what was the second part again?
I think you were touching the fair play one, the dropping the belt and fighting Joshua right away.
It don't matter if he dropped the belt or not, I don't believe. I think under that ruling of the arbitration, even if he drops the belt, he's still obligated to fight Wilder before he fights Joshua, I believe. So even if he dropped the belt and want to fight fight Joshua, he still will be screwing Wilder because he'll be going over there to fight Joshua to make 80, 70, 80, 90 million dollars for a fight. And he's under contract to fight Wilder net. So you can't just...
I'm gonna say something real quick. I think he could drop the belt because I think with that sanctioning body, he has that contract through that sanctioning body. So I'm assuming he could have another fight through another sanctioning body, as long as the WBC title is not on the line. So he could. I feel he could drop that belt. I don't know the litigation of the contract, but I'm assuming that he could. The contract is through the WBC sanctioning body. So I'm assuming if he dropped that contract, that title, that he could go and fight Joshua for his title.
Well, that's kind of scary then, because I mean, now that I'm hearing that, I could see Fury pulling that move. The only thing I think that could stop him from doing that is it takes away from how big the fight between him and Joshua could be, because the main thing is it's for undisputed for all the belts on the line. So because I think Joshua too, this is telling to me, because Joshua too, to me, doesn't want to fight Wilder. So that's why when Fury got the belt, he was so excited to try to make this fight. Let's make it for UK history. No, he wants to make that fight because he wants to get all 4 belts and then pretty much keep Wilder on the outside looking in, where he won't get a shot at, redeeming himself and getting a shot at that belt. But if Fury just drops the belt and he beats him, it's going to be added pressure for Joshua to fight, guess who, for undisputed? Wilder. Because Wilder, I figured would get the belt if he dropped it, or he'll probably have to fight for the vacant WBC title against somebody else. Mm-hmm. So in that case, I think it would be trouble for Tyson Fury, because the fight wouldn't be as big and wouldn't make as much money for the Joshua fight. But it also would be a problem for Joshua, because that means that he would be put under pressure if he can beat Fury to fight Wilder for a undisputed.
I'm gonna touch on this one briefly. I don't feel that Joshua would take that fight with Fury unless it was for undisputed. I won't say I don't think AJ would take it. I think AJ would take it. I don't think Eddie Hearn would allow Joshua to take if that fight's not for undisputed. Why would you risk Anthony Joshua losing his titles to losing all 3 belts to Fury after you seen what Fury did to Wilder? After you just seen Fury pretty much possibly cheated Wilder and beat Wilder, dodged out of the rematch clause. Now you want to allow him to fight for your belts to where he could possibly do you the same way and possibly retire. Fury probably retiring in the sunset and just leave without Joshua being able to get his rematch or whatever may case. So if I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm not letting Joshua fight Fury without Fury having nothing to lose. I'm not doing that. I wouldn't. That's not a good smart business sense to me. So. And this is the final. I think it's the final clip.
Being there means nothing to me. Winning does. If you've been conned out your title, that's how it is. That's how it's looking to me. You know what I'm saying? I know they've got a fight, this, that, and the other, but I'm only going off what happened in Germany when he fought the Klitschko's. If we hadn't have been there, he'd have never come away with them belts. And I've had it first-hand experience. So I'm just worried from that escapade to what they're going to do in America. And I know they tell him he's bigger than, because they never wanted the Saudi fight, did they? Never wanted it. Tyson wanted it. I wanted it. Everybody in the world wanted it. You know what we got? Deontay Wilder. So, beat him to pieces last time we weren't in a fight. But you can get complacent. Probably see a different Deontay Wilder this time. Probably a lot different. AJ and Usyk. It's not going to match up to what we was getting, is it? None of it. So I say to make a stand, all these boxers need to voice their opinion. Because without them, there's nothing. I keep telling them that. They've got to realise, without the boxers, there's nothing.
I mean, for me, it's more of course, I think Wilder's going to bring more to the table, but to me, it's more of what's going to be the difference with Fury. That's why I still believe his father knows a lot of stuff that happened that night. If something did happen that night, I mean, I got my own opinion on it, but if something did happen that night, I believe his father knows. And for that reason, I think it's more of what's going to be the difference in Fury. Because like we talked about before, if we get in that fight and Fury takes that same strategy and he's landing those same shots and doing the same thing he's doing this time, but this time he's back to the pillow fist Fury, then those those allegations that they had last fight becomes more of the truth. You know what I'm saying? It becomes more evident. So I think, to me, this is my opinion, I think the father knows, and he's also scared of that for his son, because to them they got away with a robbery. You know what I mean? If they did cheat, they got away with something. We got away, man. Let's go to Joshua. Let's get out of here. But when you go back to revisit that fight, and if it's so much different from that second fight, it makes people pay more attention to that second fight. And for his son, for his reputation and for what it could lead to, I think his father is really concerned about that. So that's what I take from that. I think he's more concerned about Fury and what could happen if that fight turns out differently than more about what Wilder's bringing to the table.
Okay, man. But yeah, I just had to bring that to you. Like I said, everybody, you get my boy Mon's live reaction to it. This is his first time hearing it. I heard it earlier. My honest, quick to the point description of it is that John Fury is scared. I think he knows that Wilder's a threat. I think he knows that Wilder's a bigger threat than Joshua, which is why he doesn't fear Joshua as much as he does Wilder. Like he said, he's expecting a different Wilder. He's expecting a more ready Wilder. He didn't, like my boy Mon said, if he does know the aspects of what Fury did in the ring, that he know that Fury won't be able to do it again. So that part plays into it. I will also say that by him telling his son to drop the belts and all of that, we both agree that's asinine. That I don't see AJ taking that fight if the belt wasn't on the line. And I think Fury knew that. I think Tyson knew that if he dropped this belt, he probably even tried it. He probably asked Eddie Hearn on the low, yeah, if I drop this WBC BC can we still get this AJ fight popping? And Eddie Hearn probably told him no. So that's why he signed the Wilder contract. Because he wouldn't have signed that Wilder contract unless he researched everything. You hear from John Fury himself. Wilder didn't ask for it. It was a thing that Wilder asked for $20 million. You heard it from Tyson Fury dad himself. Wilder didn't want $20 million. Apparently, Fury offered Wilder $20 million to step aside because he didn't want to fight Wilder again. So you heard it from his dad mouth. So I don't want to hear nobody say that Wilder was looking for a payday, because his dad said if Wilder wanted a payday, then taking $20 million out the fight would have been the way to go. Wilder don't want a payday. Wilder don't want nothing but revenge. That's what Wilder wants. So I think his dad. This is in closing. I just want to say this. I just don't want nobody making excuses. I feel this is his dad making an excuse if Fury loses. I feel that Fury going here and get knocked the fuck out, they already got a built-in excuse that Fury was complacent and got caught in the American hype, was over here in America living the American dream in Vegas and forgot to train as hard and got complacent, and all possibly they be going in the direction that Wilder cheated him. The American media cheated Fury. They didn't want him here. They cheated him because they didn't like him being a foreigner over here. I don't want none of those narratives to come out of anybody's mouth, because that's not the truth. It is not the truth. That's my biggest takeaway from it.
Yeah. One more point I was saying. I think that's the main thing about the third fight is that, like you said, it can be no excuses. You're gonna have you got things from the second fight that we both what people are talking about, and pretty much for, like you said, for Wilder, not Wilder, but Fury, we want to hear his excuses as far as what his daddy is saying. But as far as Wilder, this gives him a chance to redeem himself and put his excuses to it. Because, a lot of people saying he's making excuses. So point. I think he's not only fighting to beat Wilder, but he's fighting to prove that he felt that he really was cheated in the second fight. Because if he beats Fury the third fight, and he beats him conventionally, and a lot of things that Fury was doing in the second fight don't work in the third fight, it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. So I think this is big, because the third fight pretty much erases all the excuses and all the allegations of what's going on with the second fight. That's why I think this fight is so huge. So that's why I'm excited about the fight, because even though I feel a certain way as far as from what I've seen in the video and what's going on, that something definitely happened that night to Wilder. Something definitely was going on that wasn't right, but he gets a chance to prove it in the ring, and that's why I'm so excited about the fight.
You're nail on the head. That's exactly how I feel about it. If it lays the excuses down to rest with one person, but it apparently be raising it. It's gonna raise excuses for the Fury side now.
I do want to ask you. I'm gonna play devil advocate. Okay, let's say I'm just gonna say Fury comes out the third fight, right, and he does exactly what he does in the second fight. Would that change how you feel as far as saying, well, maybe he didn't cheat, maybe it wasn't, he wasn't something wrong with the water, or some people talk about the costume, but the costume thing, he never made an excuse for the costume. He pretty much was saying he was confused about what was wrong with him that night. He said, man, was my costume heavy? So people took that and said he said his costume was too heavy. He actually didn't say that. But As far as the gloves and all those other allegations, if Fury does what he did in the second fight, would that make you feel like, maybe we were wrong for thinking that he cheated in that second fight?
I wouldn't think I was wrong, because I know what I seen with my own eyes. I have my opinion on what I seen, and that is what it is. The third fight to me has nothing to do with my opinion of the second fight. If he go ahead and beat Wilder fair and square and do it the same way, then I'm gonna be like, why he cheated the second time anyway? Because I already have my opinion on how the second fight went. I already know what I seen. But if he go ahead and beat Wilder again and beat him the same way without doing it, then I'm gonna be like, what the whole point of you doing it in the first place? That'll be the first question I ask, and I'd be like, well, Wilder, he just better than you. It's me being most. I'm trying not to be biased about the situation. I only judge it not by what people are saying. I judge about what I take away from my own eyes. I seen the pictures of the gloves. I boxed before. I know gloves don't act like that. As far as how Wilder acted in the ring, I seen him look different in that second fight. I seen how he looked in that fight. So I still think it was foul play involved. So if none of that happens again, if Fury gloves look on the up and up, Wilder come out there and look destructive but still get his ass beat, then I'm gonna be like, damn Fury, what the hell you do all that cheating for in the first place? That's how I can answer your question.
Yeah, I feel similar to what you said, but like you said, I would give him his credit as being the better fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
If he does the third fight, I say, you know what? Even though I think he is a cheat, he's still a better fighter than Wilder. I will give him that. So that's what we pretty much on the same page.
I think a lot of the biased Wilder fans, they look at it as he cheated. That was the only way he win. People don't look at the fact that Tyson do have skills to the point where he was causing Wilder issues without gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Like he has certain attributes that will give Wilder trouble. If he used those attributes properly and he used the attributes to his advantage, then he'll still get Wilder trouble. Like, I don't see this fight going. A lot of people see him knocking out Fury in the first round. I don't see it happen that way. I see this fight probably going into the mid to late rounds before anybody actually get hurt in this fight, because they both have styles that rivals each other, if that makes any sense. So without being biased in the fact, I would give Tyson Fury his credit the same way I'll give Wilder his credit. If Tyson Fury was cheated and Wilder was the one that cheated him, then I'd be doing the same thing to Wilder. I'd be saying, damn, Wilder a cheating ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He went in there and shaved his gloves down to knock somebody out. To me, it makes no difference, to be honest. I just love the sport enough to me that doesn't make a difference. But yeah, man, this was a really, really long video. I'm gonna try to chop this up into a part 1 and part 2 possibly. But you got anything you want to add to this topic, man, for right now? Oh, it's good.
No, I think we covered it for right now.
All right, man, there you go. There you have it. This is CTB. This is Champ Tyson Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Logo at the bottom of the screen, just click on it. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.